Hello and welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture we will go ahead and learn how exactly can we actually store the data submitted by the user in the form. So even before we learn how to do that, there's a slight correction from the previous lecture, and that is this particular thing should actually be message.tags, not tag. So this is actually to get the color for this particular alert block right over here. So when you go ahead and fix that issue over here, and when you go to the sign up right here, so now when you click on sign up, as you can see, you are going to get a much more better styling for this particular message right here. Okay, so once we are done with this, let's get back to saving the form data. So saving the form data in Django is actually quite simple. You just have to go ahead and just type in form.save once you know that the form is valid. So if you go to the use.py file right here, for the users app, you just need to go ahead and upon checking if the form data is valid, you simply need to type in form.save right over here, and the user is going to be successfully saved for you. Now one more thing which you need to take care of is that, let's say the user wants to register using the register page. So let's say a user registers by a username like something like user123, and upon registering, let's say another user comes up and let's say he uses the same registration name, which is user123. So in that case, what we want to do is that we don't want to sign up the next user with the same username, because we want all the usernames on our website to be unique. So how exactly can we handle that? So in order to handle that, you don't need to write any extra bit of code. This form.isValid method actually takes care of that as well. So if you try to register the user or the same username twice, then it's going to show you some sort of an invalid error right over here. So in order to test that, let's actually go to the admin site right here. So I'll go to admin and I'll type in my name over here, and the password is, I suppose, super user. So when I go ahead and log in, I guess this is not the correct admin name. Okay, so now once I log in and once I go to the users right over here, as you can see, this is the only user which exists right now. So let's try to go ahead and try to register a new user with this username right here. Or in your case, you might have your own username which you have used while creating the super user. So simply try to use that super user username and see what actually happens. So I'm going to type in my name here, which is the super username, and I'll type in some dummy password as test456 test456. Now when I go ahead and try to sign up, as you can see, you will get a message over here which says that a user with that username already exists, which means we are also successfully validating the user's username field in order to check if a user with that username already exists. And if that actually exists, then Django is actually going to throw up this error and it's going to validate that the username should be unique. So we don't have to worry about validating that separately. That's already taken care of. Okay, so now once we know that, we can now simply go ahead and actually save the user by just simply typing in form.save, and that's it. You don't have to do anything else apart from that. Now let's go ahead and try to create a user and let's see what exactly happens. So I'll create a new user over here. So let me just go ahead, hit refresh, or let's maybe go to register from scratch. And now I'll simply go ahead and submit some sort of a username, or let's say I'll type in test user, and let's say the password is test456 test456. So when I click on sign up, as you can see, it says welcome test user, your account is created. So now if you go back over here and hit refresh in the Django admin panel, as you can see, you will notice that the test user is created right over here. So here we have the username field. We also have other fields as well, which is the email address, the first name, last name, and the staff status. So these three fields over here are still empty, as you could see. So what if you actually want to add another field over here as well? So let's say if you also want to accept the email address of the test user or the new user which you are creating, how exactly can we do that? So we are going to learn that in the next lecture. Now one more thing which you'll notice here is that under the staff status over here, we actually have a cross sign for the test user, and for the super user we have a right sign over here, which means that this user is actually a super user and this test user is not actually a super user. So that means we have now successfully implemented the functionality to sign up users on our website, but the only thing which we need to make sure is that we also get their email addresses along with the username and password. So in the next lecture we will learn how to add the email field to the registration forms. So in order to accept the email address, you also need to make sure that you have the email address field right over here. So that's it for this lecture, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.